Nathan Wade did an interview with CNN, and this is not a joke, this is real. His media consultant actually interrupted after he was asked about his relationship with Fulton County DA Fani Willis.
Audio issues.
Watch this. Audio.
There's been this effort to say that, okay, these exact dates are at issue, and these exact dates are. I'm getting signaled here.
Yeah, take it. You want to go off the mic for a second?
Yes.
Okay. Well, stop down there.
Everything okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it, Ticket.
And now back to your regularly scheduled program.
The old audio issues there.
No, I don't think it was audio issues. Yeah, I'm getting signal by the consultant. I thought there was signal in his ear.
I don't know about you, David. When it comes to Fani Willis, Nathan Wade, I think that former couple, they need new media consultants to teach them about optics.
They also need some new attorneys. Remember, there's still some legal battles going on underway, which could involve her involve him and his relationship with her. There's still an effort to get her disqualified. So there's more going on, and the last thing they need is a blowhard who wasn't qualified to do the job, screwing up the dates, which then goes into the appeal. These two are like the worst power couple, we'll call it that, or the low power couple when it comes legally. They're only interested in going after Trump. They can't affect that case. That's what this is about.
Here in Atlanta, the Georgia Court of Appeals has just essentially guaranteed that this case that we were talking about, the 2020 election subversion case in the state of Georgia with Donald Trump and the slew of co-defendants, will not go to trial before the 2024 election. What role do you believe that your actions played in that?
I don't believe my actions played a role in it at all. I think that this is more of the same. It's a delay kind of thing.
Congratulations, you played yourself.
But let's talk about the process here. So we understand that there were nine defendants that were a part of the disqualification motion. They then, after the trial judge issued his ruling, they then asked for permission to appeal. The judge granted that, and then said, well, this does not stop the business of this particular court. We're going to keep moving. Well, now, as you've seen a few days ago, the Court of Appeals has said, hey, listen, there's a stay. The proceedings will stop. Mm-hmm. Then the court says, well, it will stop as to the 9 defendants that are named in the disqualification motion, but as to the other 6, we're going to keep moving forward. And just on yesterday, one of the defendants, one of the 6, decided to file pleading with the Court of Appeals and ask the Court of Appeals to say, wait, listen, trial court, I think that the stay applies to everyone named in the indictment, not just
those who are seeking
to disqualify.
But Donald Trump is one of those who is seeking to disqualify the district attorney Fani Willis from this. So essentially, he's not going to trial before November 2024. And you don't think that your actions played any role in that?
Stop the cap. Stop the cap right now.
I don't. I think that the goal was to have this dog and pony puppet show, base it on things that were not relevant to the indictment. I think it's an interesting trial strategy to attempt to defend your client by attacking the prosecutors involved. But the 4 corners of that indictment speak for themselves. I think that the filings should have covered, they were sufficient. The responsive filings were sufficient to cover any question that the court had, and the court could have given a ruling based upon the filings without the need for that entire circus.
Boy, ain't no way, boy. Boy, ain't no way, boy.
But initially, the district attorney and the office that you were working with previously were aiming for a summer trial date for all of this. And so when you look at what they are fighting, which is, it's not related to the indictment, it's related to the district attorney and you, that's at the center of this, is there any part of you that believes it jeopardized, the years of hard work, the investigations that you did, the grand jury's work in all of this, because it's not going to happen before the election.
So I'm very proud of the things that we were able to accomplish under my leadership. We were able to investigate that case thoroughly. We were able to successfully seek an indictment that speaks to the facts and the evidence that came out during the course of the investigation. That did take years. Spoke to a lot of people, had a lot of conversations, spoke to a lot of witnesses, saw a lot of evidence. It took years out of my life. I'm very passionate about it. I believe in the indictment. Certainly I would have never done anything that I thought would jeopardize that hard work. But do I believe that my actions caused this delay? No.
What did he say?
I do believe, though, that the timing of a personal relationship that I had was probably bad. It was bad timing.
Well, duh.
But you don't pick and choose when those things happen. They happen organically, and you deal with the situation as it comes.
Do you have regrets about it?
The only thing I regret is the timing of it.
Yeah, that's it, Ticket.
Well, and the timing, of course, is really the crux of this.
Well, the crux of it is to slow down the inevitable, which is...
Yeah, so what happens if she gets ultimately removed from this case? Because that's what they're going to be hearing, the Court of Appeals. What happens to this case if Fani Willis is removed as the prosecutor here?
Well, the case has to be reassigned to another prosecuting entity. Now, whether or not that entity decides to proceed, I don't know.
But do you think there's a chance that it would be potentially dead if no other prosecutor is ready to step up to the plate and take this case?
Well, we're talking about a threat to democracy. This case is about democracy. It's very important to you, to me as an attorney. The rule of law is something that we all should take seriously. I couldn't tell you whether or not there are other prosecutors that are willing and waiting and excited about accepting this task, particularly in light of the threats that I've been getting and the threats that District Attorney Willis has been getting. This is a very, very dangerous role.
You're a victim.
Here we go, CSI.
And it's not to be taken lightly.
What happens to those who have taken guilty pleas here if Fani Willis is removed from this case? Do you believe that they're able to essentially, the district attorney's office should let them withdraw their guilty pleas?
No, ma'am. Now, I understand the dynamics of these particular guilty pleas. Out of the 4, there were 3 lawyers who accepted responsibility. That speaks volume. That speaks volume to what they perceive the evidence to be, at least as it relates to the charging document, the indictment. There are those who might believe that the indictment is false or that the indictment is weak. But I would say to those people, look at the actions of at least the 3 skilled, trained lawyers who've been practicing for a long time.
That's not how it works. That's not how any of this works.
So you don't think that they should withdraw them?
No, I don't. I think it would, certainly it's incumbent upon their counsel to make those strategic decisions to attempt to withdraw. But if you're asking me the practical effect of the disqualification motion on DA Willis and the effects of them entering their plea, has none.
If Trump wins the election and the district attorney next spring, when this does go before the Court of Appeals, is not disqualified from that, is it constitutional for a district attorney to put a sitting president on trial, and if he's convicted, in jail potentially?
So let's look at the question in reverse. Are you asking me if there's anyone who's above the law at any point in time in their life?
No, but I don't think it's been litigated about a sitting president, of course, going on trial. We've never seen that.
Never seen it, never expected to see it, which is why a lot of the questions about experience, no one has ever done this before. No one. This is a new animal. But if If he wins the election, then certainly there are lawyers out there who will be charged with figuring out that issue and maneuvering around it.
So you're not sure if he can go on trial, if you believe it's constitutional or not for him to actually be on, if he's the sitting president. But you just talked about how important this case is. I mean, personally, how important do you believe it is for this case to go to trial, for voters to see the evidence here of what's alleged in that indictment?
Oh, it's very important. But let's back up a moment. You said that I'm not sure about the constitutionality of trying a sitting president.
Do you believe he can, sorry if that wasn't clear, do you believe he can be on trial if he's in the White House? I
do believe that he can.
Okay.
I don't believe that it looks good to the rest of the world, but certainly I don't think that there's anything that would prevent that from happening.
What if he's convicted?
I don't understand the question. If he's convicted, then just like any other defendant who's convicted, then you go through the sentencing process.
But I don't think people think a sitting president would actually be sent to jail. I mean, it would create a moment like we've never seen in this country with the Secret Service, with who's enforcing that, and of course, you know, he would be the head of a federal branch of government.
So now that's a much different question. We know that sentencing is totally up to the trial court. That judge that's sitting there, he's charged with making those types of decisions. Special prosecutors are not.
And when you reflect on this since you've left the DA's office, how have you reflected on how the attention has not been on what's alleged that he did when it comes to overturning the election, but instead all the focus is on you?
I think it's a sad state of affairs when the American public gets misled and fed information that's inaccurate and causes them to go down a rabbit hole that's really irrelevant. I mean, we should be focusing on the indictment as charged.
Well, I think critics would hear that and say it's also about faith in the legal system and credibility and who is prosecuting such a grave case as this one.
And that's fair. And that's fair to the extent that it affects the outcome of the prosecution.
You're not worried that it hurts your credibility with people who look at this case?
I'm not worried about that. I think that the people who are looking at it through a lens that's most favorable to whatever their position is.
And when you're prosecuting the former president of the United States, you know you're going to get a lot of scrutiny. I mean, we've seen it with every single person who has investigated him, from Robert Mueller to the district attorney in New York to the special counsel Jack Smith. And I think some people would see the situation that you and Fani Willis are in and say, you know, what were they thinking? Sure.
And I'll say this. The moment that we realized that what we were doing could probably interfere with the work, we took a step back and decided to go a different route.
Stop the cap. Stop the cap right now.
That's what I'll say. And I think that we handled it professionally. We handled it within the confines of the law, and the court has said as much.
So you're saying there was a moment where the two of you stopped and realized that what you were doing would not be beneficial for the case that you were attempting to prosecute? No. Now we know that the profundity of any response lies within the question, and that question, the premise of that question, I don't agree with, right? So I guess what I'm saying to you is there was a moment during our interaction where we decided to make the decision to step away from that and focus on the work solely. Did you ever consider stepping away from the case in this office then?
When?
When you decided to end the relationship, but you still remained in the office on this investigation?
Again, I want to make certain that I understand the
Did you ever
question.
consider leaving the special counsel's or leaving the district attorney's office because of the relationship that you had with the district attorney when you ended it, but before it became public?
So again, I am very proud of the successes that I accomplished during the course of my time with as special prosecutor with the district attorney's office.
Boy, ain't no way, boy. Boy, ain't no way, boy.
I do not believe that anything got in the way of those successes.
You talked about how much your life has changed since all of this, not just joining this investigation, but also since your relationship with Fani Willis, the district attorney, became public. Has all of that continued since you stepped aside from the case?
Well, what has continued are the threats. There are constant threats on my life. I can't possibly put into words how it feels to wake up daily and need security around me, or to do something as simple as go into a grocery store and have to watch every second to make certain that there's not someone attempting to do something bad to me, or every time my phone rings and it's one of my children, I'm holding my breath because I'm not sure that someone hasn't decided to figure out where they are in the world and do something to them. This is, I fully understand why people like the former governor of the state of Georgia decided that he did not want to accept this role because of not only the small amount of compensation that he received, but his safety. And he said as much during the course of his testimony. It is just not safe because of the thought process of certain people.
You were recently seen at the election night party for the district attorney here in Atlanta. What made you go to that?
Oh wow, that's a show of support. The district attorney and I are friends. We are close friends, great friends. We will be friends for a long time, to come. But again, that appearing at an election, a successful election bid celebration for a close friend, I don't think that there's anything odd about that. I think that people made a big to-do about it, I guess, because it was me who decided to show up. But I will say this. Again, I'm very proud of the work that I accomplished as special prosecutor with that office. I'm very proud of our continued friendship professionally. I am, I can't stress enough how important a case like this is to American democracy.
You're so dumb. You are really dumb, for real.
And that day of reckoning will come where he would have to face, or the 19 defendants who are charged in that indictment will have to face a jury here in Fulton County.
Yo, hit that like for a deal with Christian. Yo, for a deal with Christian, smash that bell for DWC. Yo, smash it, just smash it. Hit that like for a deal with Christian. For a deal with Christian, smash that bell for DWC. Yo, smash it, just smash it. Hit that like for a deal with Christian.